Where do you get your news? And how do you know it's true? Can't trust a newspaper, can't trust the TV, can't trust the internet, can't even trust video anymore. Has it become harder to find the truth? In ancient times like this, people would get their news from a herald reading scrolls aloud on a marketplace, or from merchants and traders traveling the empire to spread the word. Let's say a traveling merchant told you the imperial palace burned down. Now, unless you had a horse and a month's worth of time to travel across the empire and see for yourself, your best truth came from the guy with the scroll or the guy closest to the guy with the scroll. The last century was the golden age of mainstream media, and the monopoly of truth lay with the state or those in control of TV, radio, newspaper, encyclopedias, and so on. Big networks had correspondents all over the world, and you'd rely on their reporting and on the network's editing to get your news. Now, you get your news way faster, but how would you know you weren't fed prepared narratives or straight up lies? So we enter the internet and the democratization of information. And this is an interesting one because we actually had a short window in time of like 20 years or so where we could verify some things. That's how we found out mainstream media often lies, for example. We developed a decentralized verification system called Guy with a Smartphone. And importantly, you'd have social media, meaning you could circumvent the gatekeepers of information. But then what happened was that rather than a single source for a story, you suddenly had thousands of sources for a story. But at least we still had video evidence, right? So now we've reached a new era where we don't trust the TV, we don't trust the news, we don't trust encyclopedias, we don't trust photos, we don't trust audio, we don't trust video, and we don't yet trust our AI models because they lie to us. And ironically, we sort of come full circle here because today, if you want to know with 100% certainty whether what you're looking at is true, you have to go out into the real world and see for yourself. Sort of like the guy with the horse in ancient times. The absolute truth is very hard to come by. The news we see is actually a reflection of our personal online behavior. So we all move about in bubbles, not just left-wing and right-wing bubbles, but all kinds of bubbles that affect the news we see, the way we see it, and how much of it we see. So our news might be blown out of proportion by the way the algorithm works for us. And to top it off, we also still have manipulation. So where before, if someone wanted to manipulate the news, they had to take control of the media, today, if someone wants to manipulate the news, what they do is flood the public square with countless plausible lies, until those lies become indistinguishable from the truth. So is it harder to find the truth than it was before? Technically no, because if you have 5,000 versions of a story, more often than not, the truth is somewhere among them. Whereas in the past, where you only had one version, the approved version of a story, you didn't have that luxury. But in reality, we struggle to identify the truth, whether it is withheld or whether it is buried.